everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn how to find total number of rows and column of the web table, right, using Playwright and Java. So we will use one of the website called Rediff.com. So here we have a web table. Okay, our task is to identify the total number of rows and column from this web table. Okay, so this row it's not a static one, it's a dynamic one. It's keep on changing. So our script has to tell that how many rows are there, how many columns are there. Okay, let us write a code and we'll understand. So I have created a class, right? I'm going to create a testng method. So for that I can say public void handle find rows. Okay. So now I'll add artist annotations here. You can import the packages for the testng. Okay. So here I'm using a testng artist annotation. Because of this annotation, testng will identify this method, like find rows method as a test method. So whenever we execute this class through testng, this method will be going to execute. Okay. So now I'm going to create a Playwright instance. Let's say I can say try. Okay. I'll Playwright equal to dot, we can say create. Okay, this is the way we have to create our instance. Okay, let's see. So now what we have here, we are creating a Playwright instance using a playwright.create. Okay, I'm using a try with the resources, right? With the resources block, because the advantages is that the Java automatically closes the Playwright resource, okay, when we finish the execution. So we don't have to manually manage the Playwright object. So that's the reason I'm adding over here. So now we have to launch your browser. I'm just going to open a Chromium browser. Okay. So if you want to launch the browser, I can say browser equal to, see, this is the variable. Okay. You can give any variable, but a meaningful one, because always we are using a browser. So I'm just using a browser only. So we can call the Playwright. So Playwright is this variable. Okay, we are creating instance and store it in this variable, right? So Playwright, this variable we are taking over here. Playwright dot. I just want the Chromium. Okay, Chromium dot. I want to launch. Okay, so I'm just launching here. Inside that, what I need to do? I need to say that browser type. Now, what is the browser type I want? And I want the headless mode or headless mode true or false. Okay, that is also we need to define over here. So let's say new browser type. Okay, dot launch options. Just we are calling a launch options. Okay, dot set headless. So set headless. It is asking that boolean, right? Boolean means true or false. Okay, you can say if it is a false means what? False means it will going to open a UI. Okay, if you are giving a true. Playwright, so I just say playwright.chromium, right? The playwright.chromium, first I am telling a Playwright that I want to use the Chromium browser. Okay, so I'm just calling the launch method. Launch method launches your browser. Here I am saying set headless equal to false. Here I am setting a headless mode to false. That means the browser will actually open on the screen. I mean UI you can able to see. Okay, by default it is a true, meaning that it will going to execute without UI. Okay, backend it will going to execute. It will show you the result whether it is a true or false. I mean pass or fail. Okay, but if you want to see the UI, what's happening in that, then you can make it as a set headless equal to false. Okay, if I use set headless equal to true, the browser will run in the background without displaying the browser window. That is a UI. Fine. Okay. So this browser, you can import the packages for this browser. It's right. Fine. So now we are launching the browser. Okay. What we have to do next, we need to create a new page. Let's say create new page. So for that we can say page equal to browser. Browser is this variable. Okay. So I say browser. If you are giving a different variable, you can give that dot new page. page equal to new browser dot new page. Okay, now we need a page, right, which represents the browser tab. So I'm using a browser dot new page to create a new browser page. Okay, then I want to navigate to the particular website. Navigate to maybe Rediff. Okay, want to navigate to the Rediff. So what I have to do? Page dot. So page is this variable. Okay. So you can able to see first I'm creating a playwright instance. I'm creating this variable. From the playwright, I'm just variable. I'm just calling the chromium. Here I'm store it in a browser variable, and I'm just calling the browser variable to create a new page. Here I'm using a page. Okay, page dot navigate. So here I'm passing the URL. So I'll just copy this URL over here and paste it over here. Okay, now I'm navigating to the Rediff Minigynous web page using the navigate method. Okay, once this statement executes, Playwright opens this URL in the browser. Okay, because we have make it as a set headless equal to true, right? So let me make it down so that you can able to see easily. Right? So I'm just opening set headless equal to false. So you could able to see the browser opening. Okay. Now I'll go to the application. I just wanted to navigate to the, I just wanted to find the table first. So inspect this. So here if you come, this is the table, right? This is the table, and table we have a class name is there. You can use the class name. So let's go here. I'll say page dot locator. So always in CSS selector, class name start with the dot we have to add, right? Dot and class name. So this is the way we have to pass the locator. So you can store it in any variable, that is locator table equal to, you can see locator, you can import the package. So now we need to locate the web table, right? So that's the reason we are locating the web table. If we inspect that Rediff page, right, we can see that the table has the data table, that is a class name. So we are using here. Okay. So now, so locator is this is the variable we need to store. Okay. Variable name is a table. Store the table in that table element, table variable. Okay. So remember that locator doesn't immediately return the HTML element. Okay. It represents the element or collections of element that we want to work with. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we have to locate that, identify the table, right? You go here, we identify the table first. From the table, we need to identify that row, right? Then we have to identify the column. See, if you see here, we have a TR is there, right? This is TH is a table header, right? And if you come here, you could see the TR. This is a row. TR is a row. And if you expand, you could see TD. TD is a cell. Okay. So now we have to locate that, a row first because we need to identify the row count, right? So let's say we have to locate all the rows first. So for that we can say table. So I'm using a table because already we identify the table. From the table we need a row. So table dot locator. Here I'm passing the what the tag name we have seen TR, that is a row. Okay. So now we can store it in a variable. Locator rows equal to. Okay. Here identify the table first. From the table we identify the rows. Okay. Now we have located the table. Next we need to find the rows inside the tables. That's what we have done. So in HTML table, right? Table rows are represented by TR. Okay. So that is the reason we are using table.locator. We are using a TR. This means find all the tr element inside our table. That's where I'm just using a table.locator. So usually we used to go page.locator, right? Meaning that we complete the page. But now I want to find the rows within the table. Okay. So now I'm store it in the variable called rows. So from the rows, I just say I want to know the count. Okay. So I can say int rows count equal to rows dot count. Okay, now I want to know how many rows are present in the table. So that's what we have done. So Playwright provides count method. So to count the number of matching element, rows.count means it return the number of rows. Okay, we store the variable called rows count here. Okay, if you want to print, you can print. Let's print this. Total rows plus rows count. Okay, now I am printing the total number of rows in the table. So output will be, what is that output will? Output will be total rows. So something like 100 or 200, something like that. This is the way it will come. Okay, the exact number can change, right, depending on the web page. So this is what your total rows it will going to return. Now we need to identify the total column as well. Okay, so I just wanted to get the total column count. Okay, so for that what we need to do, from the rows we need to take, from the rows. So from the rows dot nth of, so here I'm passing a 0th index. Okay, the 0th index, I mean the first row. If you go here, if I try to find the TD, right, if I find that, TD, right, it will going to return you all the column. I want in the particular one rows column only I want. Okay, so then only it will going to return 6 column. If it is 100 rows and 600 column, then it will not make sense, right? So I need only the column, first row column or second row, any one column. So that's the reason I am just navigate to the one row first. From that row, I want to count the cell. How many cells are there? Locator, I'll say first row equal to rows dot nth of 0, I'm just giving. Okay, now suppose I want to work with a particular row, then I can say nth of. Nth of, I can say 0th or first or second, whatever it is. Okay, first matching row. 0th means first matching row. 1, you can say that is a second row. If you give nth of 2, then it will be the third row. Okay, this is also very important concept. Now I want to count the column. Okay, I want to count the column. So I can say int column count equal to, so I'll say first row dot locator. Here what we need to give, I want that th is a header and td. If you see here th header, right, this header, right, td and td I want. This is a th, this one is I want, all the th I want and all the td I want. Okay, so that's the reason I'm just giving this one, not count. Okay, so now I am just giving like this. So this is probably the most important line, right? The first row dot locator, I am just passing that th comma td. So inside the first row, find the both th and td element. Okay, what is th here? Th is a represent the table header cell. Okay, what is td here? Td represent the table data cell. Okay, th comma td means find either th element or a td element. Okay, then I am saying a count method. Again, I am just calling the count method. So previously also we have done the same thing. I just want to count those cells. Finally, I am just store it in a variable in column count. Okay, So again we can print the value as well. Let's print this. I'll print total column count. Column count. So the actual, it will going to return the total column of the particular table. Okay, finally I want to close the browser. I can say browser dot close. So now this is, let us run this much and I'll show you how this is working. So navigate to the application. So that is case pass. So total rows is 101 and total column is a 6, right? So that is case pass. Okay. So let us understand what we have done in the complete flow. So let's quickly understand, right? First we create a Playwright instance. Okay. Then we launch the Chromium in the header mode. Okay. Next we create a new page here. Okay. New page and navigate to the ready application. Right. After that, we locate the web table using a class name, that is a data table, that is a class name. Inside the table, we locate all the TR element which represent the rows. Using a count method, we get the total number of count, right? Total number of rows count. Then using that nth of 0 here, we get the first row. Finally, inside the row, we locate the both TH and TD element and count them to get the number of column. So this is basic foundations for handling, WebTable in Playwright with Java. So in this video, we learned how to find the total number of rows and column from the WebTable using a Playwright with Java. But what if the table has a multiple pages? For example, here you see there is a multiple pages. You see next page. See, first 100 count only it is written. Okay, I want to know the total count. Okay, if the table has a multiple page, will rows dot count gives us total rows from the all pages? No, right? So in the next video, we will understand how pagination works. Pagination works and how to get the total number of rows from the complete table. Okay, across all the pages. That's what we are going to understand. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much.